Have you ever wondered how over 100 celebrities have survived fatal accidents, escaping death by what some call a divine intervention? From Leonardo DiCaprio's terrifying skydiving accident to George Clooney's life-threatening injury on set, here are the fatal celebrity accidents saved from God. 1. Leonardo DiCaprio. The sky over South Africa was quiet that day. Leonardo DiCaprio wasn't making a movie. He wasn't acting. He just wanted an adventure. He jumped out of a plane with an instructor to go skydiving. At first, it was exciting, but then something went very wrong. The main parachute wouldn't open. The backup chute was pulled, but it got stuck in the cords from the broken one. They started spinning in the air. DiCaprio felt the cords wrap around his arms and neck. The ground was getting closer very fast. His instructor fought hard to fix it. There was no time to shout or ask for help. It was only fear and a quick prayer. Then something happened. A small part of the chute came loose. It wasn't perfect, but it slowed them down just enough. They hit the ground hard, but they survived. DiCaprio was shaken. He had cuts and bruises. He later said he was sure he would die, but something pulled him back. He didn't think it was luck. He called it a miracle. 2. George Clooney. Before his gray hair became famous, George Clooney went through something very hard. In 2005, he was filming a movie called Syriana. He was tied to a chair for a scene. Then came the stunt. The chair jerked, he fell, and hit his head on the floor. It wasn't just painful. His spine started leaking fluid. The pain was horrible. It wrapped around his head. He couldn't think, walk, or eat. He felt like giving up. Doctors had to drill into his head to release the pressure. He had many surgeries. But healing wasn't only from medicine. He said he felt something else during that dark time, something he couldn't see but could feel. Clooney stopped praying for fame. He started praying for strength. Slowly, he began to get better. It took more than a year, but when he came back, he was different. He picked movies that mattered. He helped others more. He said the injury changed him for the better. 3. Kanye West. Before he was famous, Kanye West was just a guy chasing a dream. He worked hard as a music producer, driving around Los Angeles after long nights at the studio. One night in October 2002, everything changed. He fell asleep while driving and crashed into another car. It was a head-on collision. His jaw broke in several places. His face was swollen and bleeding. Doctors rushed him to the hospital. They had to put metal in his chin and wire his jaw shut. He couldn't talk, eat, or smile. His music career seemed like it was over. But Kanye didn't give up. He used the pain to make a song. He recorded Through the Wire while his jaw was still shut. You can hear the struggle in his voice. Every word was hard to say, but he didn't stop. The song became a big hit. It didn't just start his career. It showed the world he had something to say. Kanye said the crash happened for a reason. He believed it was a sign from God, giving him a new path. The crash didn't end his voice. It made it stronger. 4. Al Pacino. During the dark days of the pandemic, Al Pacino was fighting a battle no one saw. He was alone at home, away from crowds and cameras. Then he got very sick. His chest hurt and he could barely breathe. Then he collapsed. When the ambulance arrived, it seemed too late. He had no pulse. He wasn't breathing. For more than 30 seconds, he was gone. Al Pacino, the movie legend who faced danger on screen, was now facing death for real. Paramedics shocked his chest again and again. Then, suddenly, he twitched. He gasped. He came back. It was like something pulled him out of the dark. Later in the hospital, Pacino shared what he remembered. He didn't see light or tunnels, just blackness, thick and heavy. It felt like it was watching him, but something stronger pulled him back. He didn't know what it was. Not a hand, not a voice, just a force. He woke up in pain. but he was alive. Something inside him was different. He talked softer, moved slower, and looked at things longer. 5. Elizabeth Taylor. In 1961, Elizabeth Taylor looked like a queen. People cheered, cameras flashed, but behind the pretty face, something terrible was happening. Her lungs were filling with fluid. She had pneumonia. It made her stop breathing. She was only 29. At the hospital, she lay still. Machines stopped. Her chest didn't move. Her body was quiet. Her eyes were shut. Everyone thought she had died. But the doctors didn't give up. They cut into her throat to push air into her lungs. At first, nothing changed. Then suddenly, her heart started beating again. Her skin warmed up. Her eyes opened. What she said next surprised everyone. She said she floated above her body. She saw herself lying there. She saw the doctors working. But she didn't feel scared. She felt peaceful. Then it felt like something pulled her back into her body. 6. Sharon Stone. In 2001, Sharon Stone felt a sharp pain in her head. It hit her fast and hard. Then it didn't stop. She had a brain bleed. Blood was leaking where it shouldn't. It was very serious. At the hospital, the scans looked bad. Doctors thought she might die. If she lived, she might not be the same. She could forget how to speak, walk, or think clearly. She fell into a coma. For 9 days, she didn't move, but her mind felt busy. She saw a gold light. It wasn't the cold light of a hospital. It was warm and bright. She saw shapes with wings, maybe angels. She felt loved like never before. While her body rested, it started to heal. The bleeding stopped. The swelling went down. Then her eyes opened. But life wasn't easy after that. She had to learn to speak again, to move, to think clearly. Her old life was gone. Her job slowed down. Her marriage ended. But her faith became stronger. 7. Jamie Foxx. In the spring of 2023, Jamie Foxx almost died. One day, he was filming a movie in Atlanta. The next, he was on the ground, sick and confused. A blood vessel in his head had burst. It was a stroke, and it hit hard. He couldn't talk. He couldn't move. His brain was shutting down. Doctors rushed to help. Machines kept him alive. He fell into a coma, and for many days, he didn't wake up. While he was in that deep sleep, time didn't feel real. But something strange happened. When Jamie finally opened his eyes, everything felt different. He spoke slowly. His hands shook. He didn't know the faces of his family, but he said he felt something strange. He said he had felt everything stop. It was cold and empty. Then he saw light. Doctors were shocked. Jamie started getting better quickly. He could move again. He could remember again. But what changed most was how he saw life. He didn't see the stroke as bad luck. He said it was a message. He said God had saved him. He said he had been moving too fast and needed to slow down. 8. Jennifer Aniston. She wanted her 50th birthday to be fun. Jennifer Aniston got on a private plane with her friends. They were smiling as they flew into the sky. But something went wrong. A tire fell off the plane. One of the landing wheels was missing. The pilots couldn't land safely. The plane circled for hours, burning fuel to get lighter. Inside, people were scared. Jennifer sat still. Some people cried. Some held hands. Others wrote goodbye messages. No one knew what would happen. The sky felt big and empty. At last, the pilot made a choice. It was time to land. The ground came closer. Everyone held their breath. Then the wheels touched the ground. There was no fire, no crash, just a soft stop. Jennifer walked off the plane, feeling like the world had changed. She never forgot that day. Being so close to death made her think. She said you can lose everything in 1 second. That scary flight gave her more than fear. It gave her peace. 9. Demi Lovato. In the summer of 2018, Demi Lovato almost died. Someone found her on the floor, not breathing. Her body was shutting down. She had taken opioids, but it had something even worse mixed in. It stopped her heart and her breath. Paramedics worked fast. They saved her life, but just barely. The damage was huge. She had 3 strokes. Her heart stopped. She couldn't see. She couldn't walk. For days, Demi was in a coma. She couldn't move or speak. Doctors told her family she might never talk again. Her brain had been without oxygen for too long, but slowly she started to come back. She spoke again, even if it was hard. She walked again, even if it hurt. Then Demi said something strange. She said her spirit left her body. She looked down at herself, but she wasn't scared. She felt calm. She felt warm. Then she came back. Not just because of doctors, not just because she was lucky. She believes something higher told her, not yet. 10. Ryan Reynolds. People know Ryan Reynolds as a funny movie star. But when he was in his 20s, he had a scary moment that changed him. He was learning to skydive. On his 13th jump, something went wrong. He pulled the cord. Nothing happened. His parachute didn't open. He was falling fast. The ground was coming closer. He pulled the backup chute. It was stuck. The wind was loud. His hands were shaking. He thought he was going to die. Then, out of nowhere, his instructor caught up to him. They spun in the air. The man fixed the cords. Just seconds before they hit the ground, the parachute opened. The stop was rough. 11. Orlando Bloom. In the late 1990s, Orlando Bloom was a young student in London. He was full of energy and liked to take risks. One night, he tried to climb into his friend's apartment, but his foot slipped. He fell 3 stories. The landing was hard. The pain was strong. At the hospital, doctors told him his back was broken. His spine had cracked in many places. They said he might never walk again. He was only 21. His whole life changed in a second. He had to lie still for many days. He couldn't move. He felt scared, not just about walking, but about what kind of life he would have. As doctors talked about surgery and limits, Bloom stayed quiet. He started to pray. He pictured himself walking again. He kept believing. Slowly, his body started to heal. Feeling came back in his legs. First, small twitches, then small moves. After months of pain, he stood up. Then he walked again. Step by step, he got better. 12. Travis Barker. It was September 2008. Travis Barker, a drummer and father, got on a private plane with 5 others. Just after takeoff, the wheels broke. The plane slid, hit a fence, and burst into flames. Travis made it out alive, but just barely. Fire burned his skin as he ran. He rolled on the ground to stop the flames. The pain was terrible. Most of his body was burned. He stayed in the hospital for 3 months. He had more than 25 surgeries. Skin grafts were painful. He could not eat, sleep, or move much. In the quiet moments, he asked himself, "Why did I live?" 13. Salman Rushdie. In August, on a warm day in Chautauqua, a crowd gathered to hear Salman Rushdie talk about freedom. He had lived with threats for over 30 years, but he still spoke in public. Then, suddenly, a man rushed the stage. The man had a knife. He attacked Rushdie, stabbing him more than 12 times. His neck, his face, his chest. Blood spilled everywhere. People screamed. They tried to help. Rushdie was rushed to the hospital. He was almost dead. One eye was lost. His hand was badly hurt. His liver was torn. The pain was awful, but he lived. Doctors worked hard to save him. For weeks, he couldn't speak. Slowly, he got stronger. He didn't know why he lived. He wasn't a man of faith, but even he felt something bigger was at work. What was meant to stop him only made his voice stronger. 14. Tracy Morgan. A funny man, Tracy Morgan is known for making people laugh. One night in June, after a show, he was riding in a van with friends on a highway in New Jersey. Suddenly, a big truck crashed into them. The crash was loud and hard. Metal bent, bones broke. One of his best friends, Jimmy Mack, died right there. Tracy was badly hurt. His leg was broken. He had deep cuts. His head was hit hard. He couldn't move. People rushed him to the hospital. Doctors put him in a deep sleep to help his body rest. They didn't know if he would ever wake up. Tracy slept for nearly 2 weeks. He didn't see or hear anything. Then one day, he opened his eyes. But waking up was just the start. He couldn't talk well. He couldn't walk. Laughing, something he always did, now felt far away. Slowly, Tracy started to get better. Each word was hard to say. Each step took all his strength, but he kept trying. He said it wasn't just medicine that helped him. He believed God had more for him to do, that his time wasn't over. The crash took a lot from Tracy. He lost a close friend. He lost time. But he also got something back, a second chance. He changed how he lived. 15. Zac Efron. A movie star, Zac Efron went far away from the city. He traveled to Papua New Guinea to live in the wild. He wanted to test himself, to sleep under the stars, to eat from the land. But trouble didn't come from wild animals or storms. Zac got very sick. His stomach hurt. His head was hot. He felt weak. The doctors thought it might be typhoid, a bad infection that can end your life if not treated fast. Time was running out. He was taken by plane over 3,000 miles to a hospital in Australia. Things were very bad. His organs were shutting down. His breathing slowed. The doctors and nurses worked fast to save him. When it seemed like he might die, something changed. Somehow, his body began to fight back. He got better. No one knew how. Zac later said it felt like something pulled him back. 16. Tracy Morgan. Known for making people laugh, Tracy Morgan is a funny man. One night in June, after a show, he was riding in a van with friends on a highway in New Jersey. Suddenly, a big truck crashed into them. The crash was loud and hard. Metal bent. Bones broke. One of his best friends, Jimmy Mack, died right there. Tracy was badly hurt. His leg was broken. He had deep cuts. His head was hit hard. He couldn't move. People rushed him to the hospital. Doctors put him in a deep sleep to help his body rest. They didn't know if he would ever wake up. Tracy slept for nearly 2 weeks. He didn't see or hear anything. Then one day, he opened his eyes. But waking up was just the start. He couldn't talk well. He couldn't walk. Laughing, something he always did, now felt far away. Slowly, Tracy started to get better. Each word was hard to say. Each step took all his strength, but he kept trying. He said it wasn't just medicine that helped him. He believed God had more for him to do, that his time wasn't over. 17. Usain Bolt. The fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt, had always been used to speed. But in 2015, during a training session in Jamaica, everything changed. While running, he felt a sharp pain in his leg. It was bad. Doctors told him he might never race again. The man who had always outrun everyone was now facing an injury that could end it all. Recovery was slow. Bolt couldn't run. He couldn't train. His whole world, once built on speed, seemed to fall apart, but instead of giving up, he pushed through the pain. Every day, he fought to come back, to prove that nothing could stop him, not even his own body. And he did. Usain came back, not just to race again, but to show the world that the real race is the one you fight within yourself. Today, even though he's not running professionally anymore, his story still stands as a testament to perseverance. Sometimes, when everything goes wrong, that's when you find out what you're truly made of. 18. Romain Grosjean. He loved racing. Romain Grosjean was fast and brave, but in 2020, during a race in Bahrain, something terrible happened. His car hit another car and crashed into a wall. It broke in two. Then it caught fire. The fire was huge. Flames covered everything. Grosjean was stuck inside for almost 30 seconds. It felt like forever. The fire was so hot, it melted metal. People watching on TV thought he had died. But then he came out. His suit was burned. His hands were hurt, but he was alive. Later, he said something deep inside told him to keep moving. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't just fear. It was stronger than that. He felt like he was about to die, but something pulled him out of the fire. Doctors took care of his burns. He didn't break any bones. His heart and lungs were okay too. It didn't make sense. The fire was too big. The crash was too bad. But somehow, he lived. 19 in. Beck Weathers. A doctor from Texas, Beck Weathers climbed Mount Everest in 1996. But a terrible storm came. He was near the top, where there's very little air. He lost his sight. He couldn't see at all. The Cold War, deadly. The wind was loud and strong. His team had to leave him. They thought he was dying. He lay in the snow, freezing. His skin turned black. His body didn't move. People checked on him twice. Both times they thought he was dead. But something woke him up. Maybe it was strength. Maybe something else. He got up. He could barely see. One arm didn't work. His hands were black with frostbite. But he started walking. Each step was hard, but he kept going. He made it to Camp 4. People were shocked. His face was frozen. His arm was almost gone. But he was alive. A helicopter came to get him. It was the highest rescue like that ever done. Doctors cut off parts of his hands, feet, and nose. But that's not what saved him. 20. Julian Kepke. 17 years old, Julian Kepke flew over the rainforest in Peru on Christmas Eve, 1971. A storm hit the plane and lightning broke it apart in the sky. Julian, still in her seat, fell over 10,000 feet through the air. She had no parachute. The trees helped slow her fall. She hit the ground hard. Her collarbone broke, her knee was hurt, and her arm had a deep cut. Her watch stopped when she hit the ground. Everyone else on the plane died. Julian was the only one alive. For 11 days, she walked alone in the jungle. She had no food and no shoes. Insects bit her and her wounds got infected. Worms grew inside the cuts. She found an old shack with gasoline and poured it on her wound to end the worms. She followed a stream, hoping it would lead to people. On the 10th day, she found a boat and a small shelter. The next day, people found her and took her to a hospital. 21. Vesna Vulovic. In January 1972, Vesna Vulovic got on jet flight 367. A bomb in the cargo made the plane explode in the air. The plane broke apart at 33,000 feet. Vesna was in the back part of the plane, still in her seat. She fell for over 3 minutes with no parachute. She crashed into a snowy hill. The trees and snow helped soften the fall. A man nearby heard something and went to look. He found her badly hurt, but still alive. Her head was cracked, her legs were broken, and her ribs were smashed. She went into a coma. Doctors didn't think she would survive, but she woke up. Slowly, she got better. In 1 year, she could walk again. She didn't remember the crash, but her story became famous. Guinness World Records said she was the only person to survive a fall from that high without a parachute. Experts tried to explain it. Maybe her seat hit the ground just right. Maybe the snow saved her. But no one really knows. 22. Chris Lemons. In 2012, deep under the North Sea, Chris Lemons was working as a deep-sea diver. He was more than 300 feet below the surface, fixing an oil rig. Down there, it was completely dark and silent. he stayed alive with a long cable that gave him air, heat, and a way to talk to his team above. Then something went wrong. The ship moved and his cable broke. In one moment, he lost everything. No more air, no more heat, no more voice in his ear, just cold black water. He had a backup tank, but it only had 5 minutes of air, and he couldn't swim up. He was stuck. Usually, someone would die in seconds at that depth without oxygen, but something strange happened. His team didn't reach him in 5 minutes. Or 10, it took 35 minutes. When they found him, he wasn't breathing. His heart had stopped. But then he moved. He was alive. His brain was fine. He remembered everything. He could talk and walk like normal. Doctors couldn't believe it. Cold water should have stopped his heart. But something saved him. Chris said he felt peaceful, like someone was with him, keeping him calm in the dark. 23. Elise Saugstad. Also in 2012, Elise Saugstad was skiing on a snowy mountain in Washington. She was with a group of expert skiers. They were ready and careful, but snow can be dangerous. Suddenly, an avalanche hit. It sounded like thunder. A wall of snow crashed down the mountain. It broke trees, hit people, and buried them. Elise got pulled in. Snow slammed into her. She tumbled down, trapped under tons of snow. But Elise had a special backpack. It was an airbag. When she pulled the cord, the bag filled with gas and helped her float near the top of the snow. Even with the bag, she was buried. She couldn't move. She was cold and alone, but the airbag kept her close to the surface. She could breathe. Rescuers found her just in time. She was sore and scared, but alive. 3 others died that day. Elise didn't. She had the same gear, faced the same storm. So why did she live? She says it wasn't just the airbag. She felt calm, like something stronger than fear was with her. 24. David Purley. In 1977, David Purley was racing in England in a super-fast Formula One car. But something went very wrong. The gas pedal got stuck and the brakes didn't work. He was going over 100 miles per hour with no way to stop. He crashed into a wall. The car went from full speed to a stop in just 2 feet. His body took a huge hit. The force was over 170 Gs. Most people can't survive even 50. His legs, arms, ribs, and hips were broken. He was awake. He felt pain no one can explain. But he was alive. Rescue teams rushed in and pulled him out. Doctors couldn't believe he survived. They said he should have died right away. He should never have opened his eyes again. But David didn't give up. He healed. He walked again. He even got back in a race car, not to risk his life, but to show he was still strong. Experts couldn't explain it. Engineers looked at the crash. Doctors looked at his body. No one had an answer. 25. Stephanie Coral Browett. It was a sunny morning on White Island in New Zealand. Stephanie Coral Browett was visiting with her family. They were near the volcano when it suddenly exploded. The sky turned black. Hot ash and rocks flew everywhere. The heat was too much for any person to survive. Stephanie was very close to the volcano. Her dad tried to shield her, but the blast was too strong. Her dad and sister died. Her clothes melted onto her skin. She had burns on over 70% of her body. No one could help right away. The island was too dangerous. When rescuers got there, Stephanie was barely alive. She was flown to a hospital and put in a coma. Her body was badly hurt. Doctors weren't sure she'd live. Her skin had to be fixed little by little. She had over 20 surgeries. She lost fingers. She spent months in the burn unit. But something strange happened. She didn't die. In the coma, she felt like someone was with her. Not a doctor, not her family. Something she couldn't see. She felt held, like a soul telling her to stay. Slowly, she woke up. Stephen Wearsing. In Cullman, Alabama, the sky turned dark one spring day in 2011. A strong tornado tore through the town. It smashed homes, trees, and streets. Stephen Weersing got caught in it. The wind picked him up, threw him through the air, and dropped him hard into the wreckage. People found him hurt and not awake. He had broken bones and bad bruises, but he was alive. Doctors worked fast to help him. Then something worse came. A rare fungus called zygomycosis got into his wounds. It spread quickly, destroying his tissue. His body started to shut down. Doctors gave him less than a 5% chance. He went into a coma. While in the coma, Stephen said he didn't feel alone. He doesn't call it a dream. He calls it a presence. Something stayed with him, even when machines could barely keep him alive. As doctors cut out the infection, he felt something else helping him stay alive. Then, one day, his heart grew stronger. He started to breathe better. His eyes opened. The doctors called it a miracle. One even said science couldn't explain it. Stephen said he knew why. He had been told to hold on and not let go. 27. Mario Vaccarizo. In early 2024, singer Mario Vaccarizo was on stage in Madrid. He was on a moving platform when he slipped and fell. It wasn't a small fall. He broke his pelvis and hurt his spine. His body couldn't move. After that, things got worse. His legs moved without control. He couldn't feel his feet. Doctors said he had a rare spinal shock. No one knew if he'd walk again. Mario, once full of energy, was stuck in bed. The hospital room was very quiet. For someone used to lights and noise, it was hard. But in that silence, something new came. He felt a stillness all over, not just pain or fear, but something deeper. He started to pray again, not for fame, but for peace. His recovery was long. Every step took great effort, but he walked again. When he returned to music, his songs were softer. He moved slower. He saw things more clearly. The fall didn't end his life. It gave him a new one. 28. Antonio Resines. In late December, a famous actor in Spain got very sick. He had a strong cough and a high fever. It was the same virus that had spread all over the world. At first, people thought he would get better, but just 2 days later, he couldn't breathe. His lungs stopped working right. He had to go to the intensive care unit. Doctors put him to sleep and used machines to help him breathe. He stayed like that for more than 5 weeks. Many people were afraid he would not survive. When he finally woke up, he didn't know where he was. He couldn't move or talk much. Everything hurts. He was very weak and had lost a lot of weight, but he felt something had changed inside him. He believed something bigger than science helped bring him back. 29. Michael Antonio. The football player was driving fast through South London in a red sports car. It was the holiday season. The roads were wet. Suddenly, the car lost control. It spun around, crashed through a wall, and stopped very close to a house. The car was badly damaged. He was stuck inside. When help arrived, they were surprised he was still alive. He had a broken leg and many bruises, but it could have been much worse. They said if the car had turned a little more, it could have flipped or caught fire. He didn't remember the crash. Just a strange silence. He spent weeks in the hospital thinking about his life. The crash changed him. He started eating better, sleeping more, and spending time with his family. He also started praying again. 30. Danielle Vasinova. She has acted in many strong roles, but nothing could prepare her for what was happening inside her body. A small infection got worse fast. Bacteria spread everywhere. Her organs began to stop working. Then, her heart stopped. For 3 minutes, she was gone. Doctors moved quickly. They gave her shocks and medicine. Finally, her heart started again. She was very weak, so they put her to sleep to help her heal. Her family waited, scared she might not wake up. But she did. When she opened her eyes, she talked about something amazing. She said she saw a warm place with bright light. She floated above her body and saw the doctors trying to save her. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt more real than anything. Doctors were surprised. Most people who die for that long have brain damage. But she was fine. She felt full of energy. She says she came back for a reason.